I don't know what's in the air at Manchester United, because in the last hour, we've probably had about 5 different pretty big and interesting stories coming out on Manchester United, who they're looking at, who they're interested in. I'm talking Cunha, I'm talking this young French striker, which we spoke about in the past, that United were looking at a French striker. The name has been revealed, someone we can bring in on a free. Laurie Whitwell even confirmed that, Manchester United's number one striker target is Liam Delap. It really looks like Cunha and Delap is the way we're going. But, Romano has spoken on Osimhen, because there's more news coming out today about this agreement with Osimhen. Romano saying, he's not sure about the agreement, but he talks about the possibility. There's other links linking us to Sesko, Eze, Semenyo. We're being linked to so many players. So we're going to start with the French striker we've been linked to. We're going to dive into the Cunha news and more. Subscribe down below if you're new and help out the channel. This is your 10-minute news roundup. So, CM Mosisil, is that how I pronounce his name? You know me, I'm very bad at pronouncing names. But he also linked us to Naipan, and we did have interest in Naipan, which was confirmed by other journalists. He's a good source of information. I've seen him pop up a couple of times. Said this: Enzo Kana-Biyik joining Manchester United looks positive. Negotiations with Le Havre are not necessary. He is a free agent. Manchester United love picking up young players on a free. Look at Chido. Young striker. The Muppeteers said we're looking at a young striker. I think Sully said something as well about United looking at a young player in France. It was also said yesterday versus Abdel Hamad that Manchester United are in the running to sign 18-year-old Le Havre striker Enzo Kana-Biyik and are expected to make an offer in the coming days. So that was interesting stories coming in. Sully, who obviously confirmed yesterday, broke the story that Fredrickson was starting. He also, I think it was Nathan Salt that broke the story, but he also told me in private the night before, but he couldn't release it, that Harry Amos would start versus Newcastle. And that was correct. He's been very accurate with a lot of his information in and around the academy and the club and the insides. And he even said exclusive, Manchester United have contacted French wonder kid Enzo's camp. So he's bringing that we've actually contacted the camp. And he also mentioned a Belgian midfielder called Said Bafdili. Again, my pronunciation is horrible, who's attracting Dortmund interest, both out of contract in June. We know that United are looking at the free agent market, but more, I think, for youngsters. We're not too interested in Jonathan David or Angel Gomez, say credible sources. So this is an interesting story coming in. Am I going to sit here and pretend that I know about these players and I know loads about these players? No. Have I done a little bit of research? Yes, and I'm going to get into that in a second. MUFC MPB, I remember tweeted this out from a Muppeteers video, I'm going to say about a month ago, maybe 3 weeks ago. There is a possibility for Manchester United to sign an unnamed young prospect striker. The player currently plays in France. It would be a similar one to Kone/Diego Leon deal, said Muppeteers. So I'm assuming that this is the player the Muppeteers are talking about. I'm assuming, I don't know for sure. But yeah, Simon Jones again confirmed that this story is true. So this story's now been said by about 5 journalists, and it basically is sort of been confirmed it's true. We're looking at this teenage striker. We want to bring him in on a free. We've contacted the camp. Things are positive. There's probably a belief inside Man United that they're going to get the deal done and sign this striker on a free. Yeah, so Man United potentially signing a new striker for free, a little bit like we did with players in the past. But let's talk about him. So am I going to pretend that I've watched him play and other than seen a few of his highlights quickly on Twitter? No. I've looked at websites. I've looked at what people have said about him. I've looked at scouting reports. I've got access to certain bits of data. So this is the information I piled together on a player where there's not much about this player online. Now, these are academy statistics, but it's very hard to get academy statistics via Transfermarkt. But he can play centre forward, but can play out wide. Apparently, he prefers to play out wide on the left, but he's only played on the right according to Transfermarkt. But he has played on the left. They just only have limited data for that age group. Compared as a Hugo Ekitike, Isaac type striker, tall, fast, likes to sort of drop deep and make those runs, can drift wide type of player. And we know that Ruben Amorim would like that type of player. He's 18. Look, he's not going to be in the starting 11 next year. I mean, you never know. But I assume they'll sign a good striker in the summer. But from what has sort of been said about him and in the data, good ball striking and finishing, good movement, good positional awareness, natural goal scorer, creative, can get involved in plays, not just someone that gets on the end of things. He actually creates a bit more, provides a bit more than just goals. Fast and dangerous in transitions, quite physically good. Made the bench versus Lille, but's not actually made his debut yet, and described as a modern striker. So this could be the next youngster coming in. My initial thoughts: I like making young signings if they essentially cost free or cheap. They can go into our academy, provide competition, and offer an option on the bench. I don't know, I can't read my own work today. I like that. You know me, I'm against spending 40 million on Dibbling and 40 million on Delap and then just saying, you know what, those two are going to fix our attack. We need experience. But I like young players, especially the ones like Aiden Heaven that are 1.5 million. And then they're the bench option. Rather than having someone on 300k a week on the bench like Ericsson, I'd like, you know, the next Christian Eriksen as the bench option, not Ericsson coming on 300k a week. That's what I'd like. I want experienced players for the starting 11, but I don't mind younger players for depth. And I think these are the kind of signings I like us making. They go into the academy. They're not necessarily seen as a first-team signing, but if injuries happen, they're the ones that can step up. We've seen it with Aiden Heaven. You know, happy to do deals like Diego Leon. We need, you know, he's a left wing back. He'll suit Amorim's system. He could provide competition to Amas. He could provide competition to Dorga, who can also play right wing back, which we've shown. Dorga might move to right wing back. You never know if Leon's good and Amas is good. You know, I want funds to go towards experienced players. I don't want to be spending 20, 30 million on young gems from South America. If we're top of the league, I'm happy to do that, but we're 14th. We need to be getting ready-made players with our funds. So Aiden Heaven, 1.5 million. This guy on a free. Second Kana was a couple 100k. Diego Leon was $1 million or something like that. I like that from United. That's the young players I don't mind buying when they're just like $1 million or less and they can challenge. Now, talking of ready-made players, talking of a player that everybody knows I love, and look, he wasn't amazing versus Manchester United. He won the free kick and that was it. Wolves weren't amazing in general, but I've watched them this season and he's been unreal at many games this season. Matheus Cunha. Simon Jones of the Mail said this: United are nearing an agreement with Matheus Cunha for summer move. Club hopeful to finalise terms by next month. Newcastle United seen as the main competitor. Cunha attracted by key role in Amorim's rebuild. It is a battle probably between Man United and Newcastle for Cunha. On paper, taking my Man United bias away, it makes more sense to go to Newcastle because they'll be in the Champions League. Their project is more exciting. It's a more stable environment. But when you actually use your mind, is Cunha a better fit for Manchester United or a better fit for Newcastle? He's a much better fit for Man United. He'd be a good signing for Newcastle, but Mbeumo fits Newcastle and what they need a lot more than Cunha does, and Cunha fits Manchester United and what they need a lot more than Mbeumo does. The way I look at it is, Cunha likes to operate off the left just behind the striker. You've got Harvey Barnes and you've got Anthony Gordon. So, I mean, yes, he could probably put Harvey Barnes and Anthony Gordon on the left, but Eddie Howe wants his left winger to be hard-working, high-pressing and play out wide. That is not what Cunha does. That is not Cunha's game. So then you've got centre-forward. If Isak leaves, fair. If you want centre-forward to drop deep and be involved in play. But if Isak stays, and he doesn't like to play on the right, Cunha. You know, and Mbeumo does. And we've got Ahmad on the right. So unless Newcastle want to have Bruno Guimaraes and Tonali pivot and have Cunha as the 10 behind Isak and be a bit more attacking, I don't think he's what Newcastle need, because if they want him as a left winger, he's not. You go for Gittins. Gittins is what suits, and you don't need left wing. You need more of a right wing. And no disrespect to Jacob Murphy and Mbeumo. So I think, you know, Cunha played his best football in that wide 10 role, playing off the left in the same formation and system Amorim plays. I do think while Newcastle project as a player, better club to go to Newcastle as a player, as a fit, it does make more sense for United. We also know by Laurie Whitwell that Cunha is regarded at Manchester United as a player at his peak who could make instant impact, adding more experience than the younger profile. Spot on. Whitwell also confirmed that we are interested in Delap. I think Laurie Whitwell is spot on with that. He adds goals, he adds assists. There is questions over attitude, but he adds goals, he adds assists in a poor performing side. That's what Bruno can do. We need more stars in the final third. Look at the ball, look at the opportunity he had in the final third. Lack of quality. He's got quality in the final third we need. Ben Jacobs said a move to Man United appeals to Cunha, a lack of UCL footballer. Should United not win the UEL, wouldn't deter Cunha. He's always flirted with the idea of joining United the last 2 years. Reportedly, some reports say he is a United fan. And Ben Jacobs did say while Newcastle have contacted Cunha, he would prefer Man United. Does that mean that Cunha will move to Manchester United? No. Elise's preference, believe it or not, was Manchester United over Bayern, Newcastle and Chelsea, which people will be like, what? But it was. But Manchester United had to sell Greenwood, Sancho to at least cop up funds for Elise. Now, Elise wanted his move sorted by the end of June. Manchester United didn't get round to offloading Sancho till like the end of the window, to agreement till late, and Man United couldn't make that move for Elise until they'd raised funds through sales. Cunha was the same. If Manchester United don't get Champions League football and we can't sell Rashford, Antony, and Sancho easily, we won't have the funds for Cunha, and we might have to make Cunha wait till August. Is Cunha going to wait till August when he's desperate to get out of Wolves, or would he say, F it, I can get a Newcastle move end of June? That is the possibility. Anyway, continuing on. We got another source saying United have reached an agreement in principle for Victor Osimhen. Spoke about this earlier. I do think it's agent talk. I don't believe it. Romano said that United are interested in Osimhen, but there is no agreement. United are waiting to know whether they'll qualify for the UCL or not to understand the amount that will be spent. I read that as United, if they get in the Champions League next season, would have the funds to make a move for Victor Osimhen, but because of his wage packet and price involved, they probably don't. And last but not least, Harry Amas said that Travis Binnen had helped him a lot in the academy working on stuff. He said he needed to work whether that be off the pitch or on the pitch, mentally, physically. He gave Travis Binnen a shout out, said he helped him a lot as well, and he did an interview today, and I'll probably speak about that a bit more tomorrow. But how impressive was Harry Amash yesterday? Thank you for watching. Bye.